live. Hello, thank you for joining me today on this extremely peculiar live because it's all gone a bit tits up, I won't lie to you. Today we're talking about creating a business you love by embracing who you are. My notes are over here, so you'll see me keep looking over here. So that I can read from the notes. I've also tried to position myself in the light. If you're in the UK, you will know that today has been an odd one, where we're getting these beautiful moments of blue sky and sunshine, and then suddenly the clouds come over. So if I'm going like really, really dark, the clouds are here, and then I'll be like, bright lights. So anyway, today we are going to be having a chat with Heidi Smith, who is I'm going to call her a frickin' close friend because she is, but also a business buddy of mine. She runs her own tarot reading business, but also she's leveling up from the readings into teaching and incorporating the chakras into that. She'll tell us more about her and what she does in a bit, but we are basically going to be discussing how you can and how we have created the business that we love by literally embracing who you are, by identifying who you are and embodying all of these various aspects. That's what we're going to be discussing. So it's going to be relevant to those of you who are first starting out in business, but it's going to be probably more so relevant to people that are or women particularly that are running their own businesses, where you've kind of got to where you are and you're like, fuck yeah, and then you're like, oh, but I want to do this, I want to do more. There's more, you know, perhaps there's stuff that you didn't realize that you were great at, that you want to move up, you want to level up into those areas, but you're not sure how to go about it. Let's say you're doing all the things, you want more, but your time poor. You're already doing all the stuff, you're lacking some time, you're lacking some headspace, and it's frustrating, and you want to move into the shit that lights you up. So it's hard, like we all know, it's really freaking hard when you're kind of stuck, I suppose. Like, you very much appreciate where you're at, but you're like, oh, I want to go to that next bit, I want to progress, you know, I want to get there. You've built something for yourself, that's fucking awesome, but you want more. You're allowed to want more. You're human. We're allowed to want progress. I mean, if we didn't want to progress, where would we be? We'd all be just stuck in the middle, wouldn't we? So you've probably bought all the courses, coaching packages, group programs, hybrids, this and this, that give you the practical, pragmatic kind of like, do it like this, tick box, checklist, step-by-step way of going about stuff. You probably already know this stuff, but you're looking for like the solution to where you're at, and you know there's reasons why this stuff doesn't work for you. You might already feel kind of like a bit of buyer's remorse when you buy into this stuff because you're like, they're not teaching me anything I don't already know. You're looking for brand new information, you're looking for those practical, pragmatic steps, but the fact is it's not always that you need to hold on to. There's more to it, and as you'll find out from me and Heidi talking today, there's shit that you already know that you can cash in on and utilise in order to kind of like move forward, move the needle. So yeah, we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about why you've got the answers within, how to access those answers, and what to do about it and take that friggin' action. So I'm going to let Heidi in. She says she's sent me a request. I don't know how this works. Here we go. First time. Virgin. Here we go. Accept. Go live. I can't see Heidi. Can you see me? Can you hear me? I don't know how it works. Oh my God, she's back again. Dun, 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 dun. This is how me and Heidi usually start all of our Zoom calls. Either that or like one of these.
Yeah, or we do faces like last time where you were looking at the camera and so I was like, until you turned around.
Hi.
Yay!
Thank you so much for coming on, Heidi. I haven't actually said about the fuck up in the time zone thing today. So, like,
Listen,
you messaged me. I was in the garden. I'm chilling with my niece having a prosecco, right? And then about 20 minutes after you sent me the message, like, are you ready? I was like, I will be in an hour. And you're like, what?
well, I mean, it's not your fault. You don't have to apologize. We both looked at the tracker and we're like, this is the time zone difference. The time zone tracker was wrong.
Well, let me be the first to say, fucked internet. Fucked internet.
Yeah, yeah.
So thank you so much for coming on today. So for anyone who doesn't know Heidi, we will get to know her in just a brief moment. But me and Heidi have been mates across the pond for how long now? Less than a year.
But not almost a year though, because we would have met when we were going to do that retreat that ended up
That's
falling
right.
through with a couple other people, and that
Yeah,
would have been in the summer, so almost a year. I would say
almost a
probably
year.
9 months.
We kind of like met via other people through a different collaborative project that never actually came to fruition. However, I think we kind of just fell in love, and then the rest is her story. So Heidi, don't tell me, I already know, I'm bored of it, but tell everyone else about your, like, briefly about your business, where you're at, where you're going, what you're doing, and then we'll get into it.
All right, so I am based in Ontario, Canada, so definitely across the pond, and I call myself tarot healing coach. I am a tarot reader, and I approach it from a very heart-centered place of not future telling, but it's like anytime there's an instance you feel stuck where you're not moving forward, where you're struggling, then I look at it and say, what can we do to get you moving forward? So it's a very like client focused reading. Even, if somebody's coming in and saying, hey, I want to get married, when am I going to find my partner? Then I switch it and go, how can we get you to find that partner? What are you closed off to? What are you open to? How can we start moving down the path of more love? Hint and secret for anybody watching later or now. Generally, if you're asking for a love reading, you need more self-love to open yourself to
Right, exactly
external
that.
love.
So exactly that. And me and you, right, so for anyone that doesn't know me and Heidi, we will continue to interrupt each other throughout because that's our
Yep.
jam, that's our dynamic. See, when obviously I've had a reading with you before and I know how you operate and you always bring it back to self. So whenever anybody is asking anything external, you then offer the alternative perspective of look at the internal stuff as well. So your readings like, oh, you're going to die when you're 45, or yes, you're going to meet the man of your dreams because the fucking king of bollocks has showed up or whatever. It's like, no, let's really look at the king of bollocks. We've all met one. Is you bring it back around to the self and the inner stuff that we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah. Well, because if you want to create real change and if you want to open yourself to this stuff, the only person you have control over is yourself. So why am I going to be reading on other people and talking about other people when it's you that has the greatest capacity to make the change in your own life? So really my readings focus on like self-empowerment, self-discovery, self-guidance, and digging that in so you can find the clarity you need to start moving yourself in the direction you want to and taking back control of your life.
Absolutely. And in terms of your business, you've been working as a reader for X amount of time, and then you have evolved from the readings, which I know you still do, obviously, but your heart lies in the teaching. You want to go deeper, wider with people. You know that you have, or where you're going, let's say in your business, you're going to be teaching people how to read for themselves, potentially for clients, so that they can develop their own tarot businesses. And then obviously you've got your own niche where you're going to be incorporating the chakras into that as well. So that is very relevant to what we're going to be talking about today. where you have very much carved out your own niche through understanding not just what you're good at, but what you're fucking great at, and where your absolute heart and soul lies, and also what sets you the fuck on fire.
Yeah, because I love reading. Like, you sit me down with a client and you can see that, like, I get excited as the cards come out. If you've seen any of my readings, like, it's such a passion for me, but my heart does lie in also teaching, and teaching from that heart-centered place. Because great, you can make an appointment with a Reiki healer, with a tarot reader, with somebody like that. What happens if you don't have the money? What happens if they don't have appointments available? I really want to take this beautiful tool that I love and like have people empowered by it and be like, well, I don't have the money to see a reader today, but I did buy this $30 tarot deck, so I can lay out some cards for myself and start to piece together until I can get the help I need. So it's really to start people self-serving, right? And serving themselves in a holistic, very loving way.
Yeah, which is absolutely relevant to what we're talking about today. So I'm going to talk a little, very brief about my journey, but before that, I'm going to give everyone who's watching a quick warning that me and Heidi are tangent queens, so we will potentially go off on several tangents. We're going to keep trying to bring it back around to the focus. We've set some rules in place for ourselves, like you've got to tangent, and then it's like, right, anyway, bring it back around again. So
yeah, like the scenic route.
right, so yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll take you on a magical mystery tour, and I mean, we do.
Can't imagine why.
Right. So with me and my journey in my business, you know, I've been working for myself for the best part of 6 years now, and it's taken, my business has had so many iterations. It's a constant journey. There's a process. It goes, you know, it undulates in ways. Like I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this. And I think that one of the things that I've often sort of neglected to recognise in terms of how other people feel about business is I don't fear the fact that sometimes I change course, sometimes I change tack. I'm like, I don't want to do it, I'm doing this. A lot of people hold, you know, there's a sticking point for a lot of people. They feel that they need to remain the same in order to become successful within a particular area, whereas I'm just like, oh, you know, I don't want to sound flighty because I'm not, but I'm
yeah,
because
you're not. Because
yeah, no, I'm not.
I mean, like, I'm just over a year in business, and I've already gone through my own evolutions where I started very much as like a spiritual coach, and then I kind of shed that, got niche down further, and went on that journey of self-exploration to get to tarot, and specifically tarot healing. So what you're talking about is a very natural journey for entrepreneurs.
I think so as well, and I think that for a lot of people, there is that, or let's say there's a lot of women out there who are running their business, and these are the women that specifically we're speaking to today. So obviously we're going to be women that are starting up their new businesses, absolutely relevant, but more so are the women that have already been in business for X amount of time, getting their shit done, working their tits off, achieved where they're at, and now they're like, I want to do this. So that's kind of, obviously, you know, I'm sort of saying it as if you don't know, like, you know, you've seen the Google Doc. So yes, so that was my last note, was that we have a tendency towards tangents, because I like to alliterate. So the first thing I would like to talk about then, when it comes to business, is defining what success means to you. So this is really everything me and you are going to be talking about today. You know this, but for everybody else's benefit, we're going to be going through kind of a process, which a lot of people will always be looking for I don't want to say a magic pill, because that sounds diminutive, and I don't mean it like that, but we're all looking for the thing that kind of like is the fucking solution. We all want the fucking solution. Like, I'm here, I want to be here, how do I bridge that gap? Where's the quickest, easiest, most effective and most efficient solution? That's what we're looking at. So we need to kind of break it down. The first thing is, I always think, is coming back to self, right? So we'll be talking about that. So the very first thing, and I've got a real frog in my throat, so the very first thing is defining success. So what does success look like for you? Because lots of us look outward at, success means, I don't know, fast cars and fast women. Success means
fast women.
yeah, fast cars and fast women.
That's why
Or
we're friends.
I don't know, big houses, fucking swimming pools or some shit. Like, I'll be honest with you, nobody that I work with and nobody that I know has that definition of success for themselves. But for anybody that's just starting out, or anybody that's kind of like in that rut, it's like your version of success is dictated by what the societal expectation of success might look like. So let's start with you. What does success look like for you?
Freedom. Freedom to be myself, freedom to have my time, freedom to spend with my family, freedom to be me. It's one word, freedom. Even if I won the lottery tomorrow and had $1 billion in my bank account, I would not be out buying mansions and buying fast, pretty cars.
Fast women.
I would probably just leave my full-time job and just be like, peace, bye, I'm going to focus on tarot. I would be bored if I didn't have any sort of work or job. But for me, success is freedom. And it's also, when I say freedom, it's like there's the time freedom to do what you want, when you want, build your own schedule. But it's also an internal freedom of being who you are, true to yourself, being genuine, being authentic, being in integrity in business.
Yeah.
And not saying, well, this person made 10K months and now I need to make 10K months. You might be happy being, you know what? I'm a mom with 3 kids. I only want to make a few $1,000s a month to help pay some bills off in your business. And that's totally fine. If that's your goal, that's your goal. Stop chasing what everybody else is putting on there on the internet. 10K months, that's the big thing that we all hear and see all the time. And of course, I'm sure we all would want to eventually get there. But it takes, when I say it takes a lot to get there, it takes a lot to get there because you have to go so deep inward and heal. Because being an entrepreneur, guys, if that will be the most confronting thing you ever do. If you decide to do it, that will be the most confronting thing because you are going to have to face all of your bullshit.
Yeah.
So,
which we are absolutely going to go into.
Yeah.
So
I think when it comes to success for me, it's freedom. A freedom to explore those parts of myself too in an honest, loving way.
Absolutely. And I'm absolutely fully with you. And so here, I'm just going to come to tangent. One of the things that obviously, so you're mentioning people that are talking about, 10K months, 6-figure year, or months or whatever. For a lot of us, that it feels intangible. Like, it's lovely, isn't it? Oh, that'd be bloody brilliant. But equally, if that's not what, there's a big gap between A and Z. We're looking at A to B right now, or A to C, or A to D. A to Z, yeah, fucking yeah, babe, you'll get there. No sweat. But when you look at it in that way, it seems like a giant stretch. So when you actually look at what success means to you, so you're saying freedom. I mean, I'm the same as you. That's what I want freedom to do as I please. I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it. That's literally what success looks like to me.
Mm-hmm.
There are different versions of success, I think, as well, that we need to take into consideration. So there's the sky's the limit success, and then there's the let's say the what is currently achievable success versus the what does success look like for me within the next week, month, 6 months, year, 5 years, 10 years, etc. And some people would like to bank wealth. Some people like to have fuck ton of money in the bank. I don't really want to, let's say, hoard wealth. I like to just think, well, if I want something, I remember saying this to my mum and dad. Okay, tangent, another tangent, tangent upon tangent. When I was younger, I remember saying to my mum and dad, like, all I want is to earn enough money so that if I want to buy a magazine when I'm out, I can just buy it without thinking, oh, bloody hell, it's $3.99. Do you know what I mean? Like, so there's little tiny things. So when I think about success, I used to think about the big picture, but now I think about the day to day. And I think for me, how would I like my day to day to look? What time do I want to wake up in the morning? What do I want to be doing for this amount of time? How much freedom of choice do I want during my day? I mean, not too much, because faced with too much choice, you just sort of go, if you give me, like, if you say, do you want a packet of crisps, Louise? And I'm like, yeah, what flavours have you got? And you give me 10 flavours, I'm going to be like,
Analysis
bloody hell.
paralysis.
Oh, yeah, right. So I think that, yes. So I mean, obviously we'll talk about that later on, but like, yeah. So like, so on a day-to-day basis, what do I want my day-to-day to look like? What do I, how do I want to feel? What do I like doing? What don't I like doing? I like X, Y, Z. I don't like X, Y, Z. How can I shift things to like create the kind of harmony between those things? Like, let's be realistic. You're always going to have to, we've all got to do things we don't like doing, right? So take that into consideration. Like, you know, I want to do things I'm really good at versus things that I'm shit at. I'm always going to have to do things I'm shit at because I think that we have to. I like to be in the sun. This is why I'm sitting in a very peculiar position in my kitchen. I've got my things set up. Hello, the sun's you know, having the money to do as I please. You know, there's several different things. So your version of success, and this is what I would say to other people, your version of success might be entirely different to somebody else's or society's version of success. My dad says to me, well, I would have thought by now, Louise, at the age of 41, you'd have X, Y, Z. You know, I should be, I don't know, I should be married, I should have children, I should have a mortgage, and all of these things. And I'm like, I've got cats. And I am happy. You know, my version of success is completely different to the expectation of what success looks like to other people. So
yeah, and the world has changed too a lot since, you know, we're looking at our parents' generation versus now, and that generation's version of success versus ours. We were even raised to want that. Go to school, go to college, have babies, get married, whatever order, have the white picket fence, get the house. The housing market is insane today. I can't afford a house. Sorry. So I think really coming to terms before anything in business, before you jump into business, before you say, I'm going to start a business, before you say, I'm going to start promoting myself, is to go inward and find what success means to you. Because that way you can start tailoring everything else that you put out, your content, your products, your service, whatever is in highest honor to your version of success.
And then also what you're saying, absolutely right. And then also knowing that will always evolve and progress. Yeah. So knowing that, because obviously the women that I work with, generally speaking, or predominantly, are women that are have been in business for 5 years, and they're running you know, I would say successful businesses. They are successful. They're bringing home the bacon. You know, they're bloody brilliant at what they do, but there's more to it. So it's the same thing. It's like, okay, so for me, let's say 6 years ago when I left my employed job, all I wanted to do was I wanted to write full time. It took me, I don't know, 4 years to get to the point where I was writing full time. By that point, I didn't want to write full time anymore. I then wanted to, move into, I don't want to call it coaching, but, this kind of arena where, we have these conversations and stuff like that. And I knew that, I knew that fucking 20 years ago, but it is an evolutionary process. And then I think that a lot of people go through this sort of guilt of, oh, well, I should be happy with where I'm at. I certainly know from, I slag my dad off all the time, like, bless him if he ever watched any of these. But my dad has said to me, you never stick at anything. You should be grateful for what you've got. You can't have it easy all the time. You can't you've got to put up and shut up, basically. And I'm like, nah.
I have very strong opinions on this.
I know, right? So, but the thing is obviously,
I can't. Oh, go ahead. See, interrupting each other.
What I was going to say was the external influences that have affected our perception of not just what's achievable and what we're capable of, but like where we're capable of going. They're always going to be there, bubbling in the back of our minds all the time. And this is why the whole point of this conversation today is talking about finding the answers within.
My question to that would be to you, to your dad, to everybody who's watching this is, why can't both be true? Why can't you be grateful for what you have and still want growth, evolution, progression?
Exactly. When I was in art college, so I had I've got an art degree. And then
I have a film degree.
And then I'm like, no, I read for a living, but I'm an oil painter, babe. I'm fucking abstract expressionist anyway. My art tutor, I remember he said to me, it really stuck with me. I was never happy with what I did. He was like, that's finished. I was like, it ain't. And he was like, you could work on this for 20 years, please. And it's great that you always think, I'm not done with this. And it's like, that is the epitome of how human beings progress. Like, the second that you are satisfied, you stop, you stand still. So I've always, and since it had such a huge, that was 20 years ago, it's had such a huge impact on me, which is why I don't feel bad about always wanting to progress. But I also do stand still, and I would, obviously I say this to other people, and you know this as well, take a fucking beat and say, mate, look at all what I've achieved, right? I've done all this, blah, 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 pat on the back, absolutely, stand in it. It's like, fuck yeah. Anyway, so now I've done this. Do you know what that is? That's evidence that I've achieved this. It means I can achieve shit loads more. That's the evidence. That's the basis of it. Anyway, so let's move on because we have to stay on track. So then we look at the why. So the goal beyond the goal. So we say freedom, we say financial freedom, we say freedom of choice to do what I want to do when I want to do it. I'm going to very briefly say like what that means to me, and then I'm going to ask you what that means to you. So
my husband's iPad keeps going off. I'm sorry. I'm going to tuck it under a blanket.
Yeah, I think lob it out a window, mate. Do it rock star style. So the goal beyond the goal. One of my coaches, Sarah Watts, she's absolutely amazing. If you get a chance to look her up, she's freaking awesome. She does like somatic stuff. Like, she is amazing. And she said to me once, "What's the goal beyond the goal?" And I was like, "What do you mean? What's the goal beyond the goal?" And then she just kept saying, "Why? Why? Why?" And I thought, my mum told me I was like that as a kid. Why? I love it. Dig deeper. So for me, I thought I wanted financial freedom in order to do what I want when I want to do it, blah, blah, blah. But what does that mean? Why do I want that? Why do I want that? What we got into was the fact that I like to give freely of myself. I don't want to be able to, I want to be able to get to the point, which I'm gunning towards now, where time doesn't equal money. I can just give freely of myself without having to think like, like we do in business, well, actually it's an energy exchange and I serve, I deserve, da da da. And then really it's all about, it boils down to the fact that I want to use my experience and knowledge and everything else to get other people to that point. That's what I want to do. you know, when somebody says to you, like, what would you do if you win the lottery? Like, I'd reset everyone I love to zero. I'd pay off all their debts. Like, let's reset you to this point where you can just fucking go forth and conquer. I've told, you know, several friends, all of my friends, in fact, like, you'd be great at this. Like, let's get you some passive income. Like, let's do this. I don't know. Lots of them don't want to do it, and I think I'm being a great friend, and they're like, Louise, that sounds knackering. Like, fuck off, I'm happy. I'm like, all right, sorry. I need to, like, back the fuck up here. But the goal beyond the goal for me is, once I create that for myself, which I'm on the road to, it means that it enables me to be able to help other people with that. And, you know, money is limitless, and there's enough out there for everybody. So let's get to the point where everybody's doing it. And I didn't realize I had such a huge kind of like mission. Really, I just thought, oh, I just want this, and it's not about me. It's actually about a freaking massive thing. And then beyond that, which we'll go into, we'll park that and come back into it. It's actually a source of, I don't want to call it motivation, but it's a source of purpose that means that I know why I'm doing what I'm doing, because it's not as simple as just, it'll be nice to buy the magazine and not worry about it. It's now like, yeah, but I want to see everyone in a position where we're all like, you know.
Yep.
So when it comes to, when you think about what your goal was originally when you started out versus what you've uncovered now, like, tell me about that.
So when I first started out originally, it was just to be a little side hustle, bring in some extra cash for the family, pay off some debt, make sure my girls are taken care of. And so it was really like, let's focus on, you know, bringing in make life a little bit easier for everybody. And the deeper I got into this, it's a very similar goal to you, but my mission instead is to heal. I'm a healer at heart. I am a healer at heart, which is why my readings come from that place of like self-empowerment and guidance and clarity, because I'm like, let's heal your bullshit. Let's look at your baggage. Let's look at whatever it is, those dark parts of you that you may not enjoy and that are there, and start working through them so you can have peace. And that's my big goal, is to help people heal so they can find internal peace.
Because
like I did. Like I'm still doing.
That's your bagel. That's the thing that makes you, because I'm the same. I'm exactly the same. It's like, you know, in my friendship circles, for example, I'm the one that people come to for this particular thing, and I've done that my whole life. And then it's like, this is what, you know, this is what, I always say this is what gets me off, because I don't mean it like that, but this is like literally
what you do.
It's like, well, this is what I'm here for. This is
yeah.
This is my purpose. This is my point. Yeah, and that's absolutely amazing. So then, so for everybody else, when we have that, so like unearthing these answers, like how can you hear the ice cream van? That's how you know it's like half summer in the UK. The ice cream, that's a really bad, it's not even a good thing. So unearthing the answers within you, going into this stuff like your purpose, the goal beyond the goal, actually finding these intrinsic, again, I don't want to call them motivations, but these intrinsic parts of your purpose and self. How do you, or how have you tapped into that, like, knowledge? How have you tapped into that intuitive part of yourself? How have you found that guidance within you? Okay, I'm going to sit back and let you wax lyrical back. Here she goes.
We're the I'm missing a deck. It's downstairs. Okay. So really, for me, when I got back into tarot, so I've been reading for about 13-ish years. I started when I was 16. I had a 10-year hiatus. life took over. You get out of college, you got to find a job. You're working more than one job. You're going out with friends. You're in your 20s being like, "Woo, I'm in my 20s." And then I woke up.
Like, I'm 20 something. I think that's all 20 something. Sorry, 20 somethings if you're watching, but this is you.
But it is, right? Have being a 20 something woman in my past. Sorry, 20-year-olds. I promise it gets being that age, and that was what life was. And then it was, I met my husband, we got married, we had kids, we settled down, and then I started so the other business I have is a daycare business, and so I started that because I was working in film and television, and I couldn't find anybody who would do daycare for those, like sometimes you're on set 16 hours a day, and he worked nights, so there was like nobody, so I started that because I was like, okay, well then I gotta have childcare, and then I woke up one morning and right after my second daughter was born, and I looked in the mirror and I was like, who the fuck am I? I am I am mom to my kids. I am mom in my job. Who the fuck am I outside of mom? Because I wasn't like leading my own life. I was just letting life happen. And then my best
That's
friend
fine.
and I.
Sorry, I'm just going to pause you there. That's something that I think a lot of people need to hear is that there is a perceived notion that life happens to you, and I suppose what we're getting at is that life happens for you. And I just
Yep.
put that in the golden nugget.
I wish we had like a graphic that I could
We
just
should have
press
a little,
on screen and be like,
a little gambling thing, like little, like all the cash, like all the money coming out.
yeah.
I'm not gonna. I was gonna call it the money shot, but again, no noise.
So we have money, so we have things that turn us on and money shots in business. Just remember that, guys.
That really gets me off. Here's the money shot. No.
So my friend and I, we over COVID were watching American Gods to keep us connected and something to do because we were all trapped in our house. And she mentioned that she wanted to learn to read tarot, and I was like, well, shit, I've been doing it. I haven't done it in a while, but I've been doing it. Like I know how to do it. So we went on this journey together. Hers is obviously I went insane with it and was like, I need to be a tarot reader. Let me start my own business. She does it like for herself and on occasion, but for me, I got really into it and brought me back into this world. And I really did use the cards just like I do with my client to dig into my crap, to dig into my pain, to dig into my shadows, to find out who I am, what I was doing with my life, and reconnect with my intuition that way. That's also why I do what I do in my readings, because I'm like, it was such a personal, powerful experience to me that I'm like, now that I know the power that this tool has, I need to share it.
Well, I mean, you and I are very similar in a lot of ways, which obviously people don't know, but we are like walking same person from across the pond, but then we diverge in ways. So I don't really like Aquarius tangents. So when it comes to going through these processes, I think that both of us are the kinds of people that are very astute at kind of identifying it as you go. So it's like, oh wow, so you, I suppose, acknowledge it as and when it happens, it comes, that sun's melting.
Your white robe.
So, but I think a lot of people, because this is something that obviously I would kind of say to people, is to be mindful and be aware of these things as and when they come up. When you have these, like, what I like to call mini epiphanies, where you're like, oh, fuck, this is how I operate. Oh, fuck, this is a thing for me. Oh, fuck, it's this. Or, oh, shit, I forgot. Or whatever it may be, jot it down. I mean, make a mental note if you're like me. Mental notes aren't good enough. Jot that shit down. Or voice note it, or tell somebody else. Whatever it is, acknowledge it. because these things are like the building blocks, the puzzle pieces, and the foundation of things that you will continually come back to each and every time you need to tap into yourself, what makes you you, what's useful for you, what you can utilize for other people's benefits, things like that.
And something that they also need to be aware of is that it also takes time. We're in this culture of like, give it to me now. TikTok. I want the information. And like everything is instantaneous, and this process is not. And I think that's where a lot of frustration, and for me, when I first started, that's where a lot of frustration came from as well. Where it's like, why is this happening? Why do I not know? Why? I'm asking, give me the information, tell me the how, let me just do it. And it's a process. Like, it takes time for you to go through. That's why I said being an entrepreneur will like throw your shit in your face, and you're gonna be like, oh god, because it takes time, and you've got to really confront yourself in so many different ways.
Absolutely, and that's a brilliant segue into the next thing. I love how much we're staying on track and not going off on tangents too much. I mean, we are, but we're kind of not. So well done us. Woo! So then it comes down to, cultivating that self-awareness. It means that you then make informed decisions about what you want, what you don't want, what you're good at, what sets you on fire, how you want to operate, and things like that. So all of these aspects of what we've been talking about, it really boils down to cultivating that self-awareness. Obviously, we're going to go into how that has a positive impact on your business, and actually drill a bit deeper into how to actually go about it. But like, I think it's important for us to talk about what the benefits are of that exploratory process. I do want to just quickly say this though, because and I've written this down on the notes, and I could read it. I'll read it verbatim. And I've got biz buddies who think this is all a pile of shit. They think it's all fluff and bollocks, but that's because they're already confident and they're practically minded, so they don't have these struggles. So to focus on this stuff makes no sense to them, because they are people that can go out and say, okay, I need to do bish, bash, bosh. I can do X, Y, Z. Here's a practical, pragmatic strategy, and I'm going to follow it to the letter, and I will get the results, right? Brilliant. We're all capable of doing that, but for those of us that struggle with those sorts of things, either we lack consistency, or we lack I can't be fucking bothered with this anymore, or whatever. It's because of the inside.
That's one. Stop comparing. Stop comparing. And Emma says that she's losing us. There'll be a replay.
So I agree with you 100%. The only reason I'm mentioning this is because I wanted to offer the alternative standpoint in this, because one of the things I fucking hate is people that are, so obviously I'm sitting here calling out and criticising people that say do it my way, do it my way, do it my way, and then I'm going, well, here's our way, so I would invite people to consider our approach, but I'm not saying like this is the correct way.
No, everybody's going to have their own journey.
Haven't already built what they've built, because I've got fucking shitloads of, like, as I say, I call them my biz buds, who are incredibly successful, and they don't pay any attention to this stuff, and that's because they already have the capacity to do the things, all the stuff that we're talking about. But for those of us that don't have that, I don't know, self-belief, self-confidence, self-acceptance, or who are trying to do things in somebody else's way and stuff like that, I think that these wonderful folk that are like cracking on and getting on with it, they have the capacity to just like they're all right, they're all right. So I ain't talking to those people, but they will criticise me and say, yeah, but you're talking shit, though. Like, people just need to, like, you know, fucking buck up and get some balls. And I'm like, it's not that easy. Like, it's easy for you, but for some of us, it's not that easy. Like, the amount of inner work it's taken for you and for me to get to the point where we have the bollocks to stand here live and say all this shit and be vulnerable, be open, and actually be honest about what we go through, have gone through what we're going through, and then say to other people, do you know what, like, you ain't alone. That takes bollocks. It takes bollocks for, like, my mates to say to me, like, you're full of shit, though. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's fine. I am full of it. It's fine. But you know what, I'm not full of shit to the people that get to hear it.
Yeah, let me challenge it on a couple of things. One,
yeah, go.
Don't compare, because your journey is your journey. It's not going to be like anybody else's journey, right? You're going to figure it out on your own time, which I know people are like, I don't want to hear that. I want it now. But this is two. Who's to say that these people who are doing it, that you're looking at, haven't gone through their own self-healing journey, self-discovery journey, and they're now just so comfortable in their skin that they know, all right, 1, 2, 3, bish, bosh, bosh, as you like to say. And
they weren't even aware of it while they were going through it. And you know what? Hats off to people. Like, I have got no problem with people like that. But the problem I do have is that people who have gone through that process where they haven't necessarily acknowledged the process themselves, and they've come out the other side and they're doing incredibly well, they retrospectively, they might not be able to
don't worry,
to identify what they've had to go through to get to where they are. So there's kind of, you know, and that's fine. Like, you know, it's like, you know, some people are like, I don't need counselling, I'm fine. We all need counselling, but
listen, if everybody in the world had a therapist and a tarot deck, the world would be a better place. That's my belief. But at the same time, these people who are like, oh yeah, I'm totally fine, I'm totally comfortable where you are at, as soon as they want to start growing again, they're going to have new demons to face, new internal shit to face. They're going to be like, well, I'm making 5K, 10K, whatever a month, and then they want to level up to the next, you know, level in their business. They want to bring in a new product, a new program, a new whatever. Then all of that process starts over again, because every time you step up a level in your life, in your business, even in your relationships, anytime you decide to go, boom, I'm up another level, you're going to have to do work. You're going to have to look at yourself. Because just because we are like, oh yeah, core wounding happens when we're 7, and then we can heal it. No, we still carry baggage. What you're going through now in your business, like what I'm going through now in my business, having in a year and a half, I have things that I'm really proud of, really amazing, things that I've achieved, but I've also have things that are going to surface later that may wound me, and I mean, maybe just tucked under there for now. And then when I want to take that level up, I'm going to go, oh.
and we will. But the difference is because we're aware, we have a heightened awareness, I suppose, to this stuff. You know, the fear aspect's still there, but it's like, it's not as scary, let's say, because it's just like, you know, okay. What I would say, like, going back to what you're saying about people, you know, and what we've both just said, I'm not going to fucking repeat it, because, you know, I like to say everything 3 or 4 times in different ways, just to make sure everyone kind of gets it, because that's dick. A lot of the people that I know, and this isn't I suppose it will come across as criticism, but a lot of the people that I know who are just like, we don't all need to keep progressing and doing this stuff, it's like they've kind of capped themselves at this sort of level of, well, I'm all right. And, you know, I always say that fine is a 4-letter word, like fuck fine. Okay, so I would like to lose some weight, but I'm fine as I am because I ain't a big
feelings in need of expression.
Right, that's exactly it. So I know people, and I've been the same in the past. You know, when I first started out, it was just like, I don't want to be, try and get in the sunshine. I don't want to be beholden to somebody else's schedule. I want to work from home, and I want to do things that I enjoy every day. I had a project before I left employment. I woke up at 3 a.m. and I got up because I was wide awake, and I had a glass of red wine, and I was like writing for about 6 hours, and then I had a nap, and I thought, wouldn't it be nice to have a life where I could just do this and not kind of worry about having to be on somebody else's time frame and this and this. So in the beginning, my version of that was I literally just want this, but it expands, you know, and the more that you see is available to you, because that's the thing. I think a lot of us, until we're in it, we don't see what more is available, and we don't understand our own capabilities until we've proven them to ourselves. Because before you know it, you're doing it, and you're like, holy shit, this is what I do now. Like, I didn't know. Some of us don't even know how we've ended up here. I mean, you know, 6 years of my life have just flown by, and I'm just like, oh, holy shit. I mean, this is great, but equally, you know, that for a lot of people, and then there's a fear level sets in, and then that's when people cap themselves and say, I'm okay as I am. I think that is true for a very small percentage of people, because especially women who run their own businesses, because you are literally capping your capabilities. You're not just capping, so like fuck money, but you are capping your potential to do the shit that you love, the value that you are giving, because you love what you do so much. You want that to spread out into the world. That's your crusade. This is what I do. This is who I am. And I see these women out there, like, and they're amazing. They're so good at what they do, but they're like, yeah, well, you know, I just like to shut my laptop at 5 p.m. and say, well, that's work done. And I think you're lying to yourself, babe, because if only you had the self-confidence to say, you don't even have to work till 5 p.m. You could shut your laptop at 2 p.m. if you were doing the things that you're great at, that you're capable of. I'm not saying this is true for everyone, and I think sometimes I have a tendency to like project like ambition onto other people that don't want it. They're fine. They're like, no, I'm happy. Like, fuck off, Lou. Like, I'm happy. I was talking to my friend about writing blogs. And then she was asking me about my business. She was like, oh, it sounds knackering. I was like, no, I love it. And she's like, oh, and I was like, I thought I was helping. I was wrong, right? I'll admit that. But yeah, I don't like people, like seeing people cap their potential to do the amazing things that they're capable of doing, that would not just serve other people, but that would also serve them. And sometimes I think it's a case of identifying whether it's a fear of failure or a fear of success, because, you know, I mean, let's not go into that, because that's for another day. So I'm in a really bad position now the sun has moved. Anyway, let's move on, because yeah. Okay, so self-awareness.
Stuff small. Some people like, yeah,
oh
and
God,
some people like to play small, and some people want to continue to push themselves and expand themselves, and
absolutely.
You know, what? Wait.
Okay, so I'm just gonna let's very quickly go through the getting to know all about you. So digging deep and uncovering who you really are.
Oh, fuck, that's a lifelong process.
Yeah, I know, this is a long combo, but let's like just do some checklist ones. So for me, right, shadow work, fucking confront the shit you don't want to confront, Akashic records, past parallel lives, not just understanding my belief system, but actually acknowledging the fact that it completely changes on a daily basis, and being cool with
values. Know your core values, because even if your business changes, your core values will most likely, unless there's huge shifts in your life, because your values can change, but for the most part, your core values will stay the same or very similar.
What is your number one core value?
My number one, freedom. That's why do you think success is freedom? Freedom and
I
family
just
and
want to
peace.
keep writing this, George, like, freedom, I won't let you down, freedom,
Freedom,
I will give you up.
family, peace, and compassion.
Oh, they're a little bit miswelled though, Heidi, aren't they? I love you. Core
I love you
value, my
too.
core value, which I didn't even realise was my number one core value until I had a reading with, Imbal, and she said that being who you are, exactly who you are, and having the ability to express that and the permission to express that is your core value, number one. And then your purpose is that you are just out there telling everyone else, like, you have got to be who you are. Like, it gets misconstrued. I do have to say this because I don't know if my niece will watch this, but she was round earlier on, and she said that her and her other half, who were having some hoo-ha, let's say, her other half, her other half said to her in an argument, well, why don't you just go and see Louise and be unapologetically you? I was like, oh, that's harsh. Like, oh, and I was like,
No,
because
yeah,
because people will misconstrue that being unapologetically you and having your self-expression and who you are as a core value isn't about being a dick. Well, it's just who I am, so fuck you. It's not about that. It's about ownership. It's about being transparent. It's about saying, God, I was a
like I said earlier, one of the things when it comes to success is being in integrity.
integrity, exactly, and that's it. And then being unapologetic about the fact that you're being transparent about it. You're not lying to yourself. You're not lying to other people. One of my friends said to me a few months ago, he said, oh, you posted this thing on Facebook, and then about 3 weeks later you posted something else and you were contradicting yourself. And I said, yeah, because I'd learned something new in the meantime and I changed my opinion. And he was like, well, you should stand in your beliefs. I was like, not when new information's presented, mate. Like, my beliefs change like my knickers, and I'm cool with that. Like,
Yeah.
that's part of who I am. You're allowed
Well,
to
just like,
stand firm in the belief that you're allowed to change your
yeah,
beliefs. Like,
I went to a show a couple weeks ago. So I was a vendor in a show, like like a witch night or whatever. And so there was a few. There's like they had a cosmic reader, they had psychic mediums, other tarot readers, whatever. And I was
yeah,
the only one there that had my ethics printed out on the table so people could be like, "This is the reader for me." And I lost readings because
you
people
lost readings because you were being very sort
because
of
I was in my integrity and they wanted me to predict their future and I was like, no. And like I can't do that and I won't do that. And that's fine. I had people that came in and sat with me and had amazing, beautiful readings with me in my style. But what was important to me when I closed that and left is I remained in integrity. I remained who I was and I was
it's like,
honest to myself.
obviously I don't do readings like you do, but like I've said the same thing to people like who locally I do readings. Obviously I do the odd one online. My readings are more about they're like soul level readings. They're not. Example. I had some girl on Instagram in the DMs saying about this boy and does he love me? Does he love me? Does he love me? I was like, because I was offering one card readings in my Facebook group and I'd put it on Instagram, and then stupidly I'd said, okay, yeah, I'll pull you a card. And honest to God, she just kept asking the same thing. And she was directing me towards the answer that she wanted from me. And I said to her, I am not going to tell you what you want to hear for the sake of the fact that you want to hear it. These are not the reasons. I can't say, oh, yes, this man loves you or whatever. Remain Marmite. I mean, I've been Marmite. And again, I'll use my dad as an example. My dad said to me, you're not going to get business like this. You ain't going to do da-da-da. Listen, I don't care. So let's pull it back to what we're talking about. Remaining in your who you are within your business. I'm trying to Fucking sun out my face now. Like, I wanted to be in the sun, and now I'm like fully regretting it. Let me bloody sunshine. Oh, I'm not minding about sun. So remaining who you are, remaining who you are, and being true to yourself. Oh no, the whole thing's falling off now. Within your business is really, really important, and I think that a lot of people find it really difficult because we are told to be a specific way, or I don't know. People worry about alienating members of their audience and stuff like that. So you make a really, really valid point by saying, well, you know what, I remained in my integrity in that moment, and yeah, I lost some clients, but equally, did you? Because perhaps you gained some from the fact that you were being like upfront. Because going back to the whole point of this conversation is stepping into who you truly are, being confident about that, being bold about that, being unapologetic about that, and incorporating that into your business, especially when you have a personal brand, is I think is key. Because obviously we all know about the know, like, trust factor, which is, you know, obviously, like, I don't know, fucking marketing, speaking, everything else. Like, everyone who's listening to us knows all this stuff, right? We don't need to talk about strategy and pragmatics and practicalities.
No, this
because
is about showing up as you and owning yourself and who you are.
And doing that means shedding your people-pleasing stuff. So when people say, if you're like, Louise, if you swear, you are going to alienate this section of people.
You know what
and I'm
I
like,
say to that? I say, fuck.
okay, I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, because I don't want to be one way, and then when you meet me, be a different person. I've done that my entire life.
Or have to put on a face constantly when you're meeting with clients because you show up a certain way online, so now they expect you to be a certain way, and so now you're not even authentic when you're meeting with clients, and you're constantly wearing a mask when you're marketing, when you're meeting with people, and it's just exhausting. It's exhausting.
It took me 18 months when I left employment. It took me 18 months to stop putting kind regards at the end of emails. I was still a to whom it may concern kind of person. I don't do that with clients now. The clients that, all my clients, so obviously, you know, copywriting, marketing, strategy, etc., business strategy, that's my bread and butter work. Obviously now I'm going into the kind of digital course arena, particularly within like the kind of mindset and the spiritual elements and things like that. But originally the tendency to put yourself in that box because it's what's always been expected of you, and then you are told if you don't do it like this, people are going to think this. Coming out of that is about it uncovering who you are and being authentic. Buzzword authenticity is about shedding the expectation of others. You don't have to, I mean, obviously there's some digging that we've all got to do, but a lot of it is getting rid of the shit that you've just taken from, like, externally, whether it be societal, you know, work environment, friends, family, whatever. And it's about saying, do you know what? No, you look at like different business models. Obviously, there's several different schools of thought. There's people out there who I absolutely rate very, very highly, who would say, you are not your niche. Don't talk shit. Like, it's all about building a business and building an exit strategy, a profitable business and an exit strategy, so that you don't have to be the face of your business, so you can walk away from it, sell it, make loads of money. And I'm like, I'm going to be the face of my business till the day I die, because that's what.
Yeah. But then you do it that route, you end up with a business you hate, and you end up where you are with your 9 to 5. You wake up and you go, fuck, why am I doing this? I hate this. Why did I build this business?
I had a coach who told me 3 or 4 years ago when I was a VA, when I was leveling up, I had 2 different paths I wanted to go down. One of which was building a VA team and, you know, having it. And she said to me, she sort of Alan Sugar, I don't know if you know about Alan Sugar, and no, oh fucking hell. You know, oh, you got trumpet, you're you're fired. The fucking, what's it called? The Apprentice, right? So yeah, Lord Allenshire, oh fuck knows. Anyway, he did Amstrad, I think. Anyway, so his whole philosophy, and this was the kind of philosophy that was fed to me in this coaching call from a woman, was this is what you're great at, this is what you're already known for, therefore this is the most logical course of action. And I listened to her because at the time I didn't have the confidence to listen to myself and think, yeah. So I did that, and it was successful for a spell. But it wasn't super successful because I couldn't be fucked with it. I didn't want to do it. My heart wasn't in it. I didn't make it work because, and I probably sabotaged it, let's be honest, because I didn't want it. But it was pragmatically the logical, rational way to do things, and it could have been brilliant. But I don't work up here. I work in here.
Yes. When I said I wanted to be a tarot reader, everybody's like, what? Reading cards as a business? Man, I told my mom that when I was 16. She's like, well, that's not a real job. So,
you know what, right? Parents have got a lot to answer for, because I was so grammar school, you know, top 10% of intelligence in the UK goes to grammar school, all of that. I wanted to be a hairdresser. Before that, I wanted to do something. I think I wanted to be like a forklift truck driver or something really weird. But I wanted to be a hairdresser. I've always been interested in. I like, you know, hence why I did art. I've got, you know, I like being creative with my hands. And my parents said to me, "You're too intelligent to do that." And I
get a real job is my word. Thanks, Shan.
It's like get a real job, right? Yeah. So my parents' attitude growing up was that I should use my brain and my intellect for a career, and I should use my creativity for a hobby. And then, obviously, at the time, I was like, all right. And then, but in retrospect, I think, why couldn't I have used which now I'm doing, using my creativity for a career? And then my intellectual pursuits are my fucking hobbies. Like, you know, I can tell I'm great on a pub quiz. Like, I'm well clever. I'm book smart in a lot of ways. But that's not. I don't want that as a day-to-day thing. Like, it's not. It doesn't. That's not my jam. My jam is the creative. But I suppose coming back around to the conversation that we're having for other people is that.
Just thinking, are we on a tangent?
Yes, I know, and I'm looking at my notes like. But the point is that these unearthings of this stuff, like, hopefully our conversation is sparking for some other people where they're like, oh fuck yeah, because until you have these open and frank and candid conversations with other people, and you have this ability to be vulnerable and open in a non-judgmental but equally like kind of environment, sometimes you don't acknowledge these things yourself until it's sparked from something else. And really, I think fundamentally today, that's what we're doing. We're not here to kind of go, you need to do X, Y, Z. We're just exploring these things. So should we move into incorporating your knowledge of self into your business? So I'll ask you first. So when you obviously you've been doing right, okay, so the thing is you started, did you mean to go on? Right, see,
no, I'm just waiting and watching your face, and then you're like, but okay, so I'm just like,
yeah, so yeah, I would say, yeah, so you, obviously me and you have known each other for like a year or whatever it is, and during that time, for me at least, what I get from you is that you have a very clear idea of what you want and where you're going, even though, and your journey is like fucking like you are super speeding your journey, which is incredible. Whereas for me, I've been like faffing and fanning around for like over 5 years. It's only been in the last, let's say, 8 months that things have really fucking sunk in for me. So we're very different in that regard. But but that aside, incorporating the knowledge of self that you have, and that, you know, the experience of really truly knowing who you fucking are, how have you incorporated that into how you run your business and how you do business and how you make your business decisions?
Good question. So how I incorporate it is definitely the way I show up. I am equal parts nurturing, loving, space holding, and ass kicker. I'm a mom of 2 young kids.
You did call me a cunt earlier. We do have to mention that. I'm going to tell
I remember our reading together where I told you to fucking shut up because you were like, but no. And I'm like, shut up, fucking sit down and listen. So I can be that nurturing person who doesn't mind taking you by the hand and being like, let's look at this together. Let's build something beautiful together. But if you keep interrupting and you're being an idiot and you're not actually listening, I am also not afraid to be like, shut the fuck up, sit down. So that is definitely one way that comes in. I'm also like a weird, quirky person, so, and like have an odd sense of humor, so like that's how it comes out as well. And then when it comes to business decisions, it's really, for me, I will look at the logic of it for sure, but I also give myself the time and space to feel into it. And at the very beginning, when I first started building this, there was that sense of panic. I gotta bring clients in. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. And now I'm in this part, and I'm not going to say, you know what, my business, because I started, and it was last year, I made just over $1,000. I was very proud of that. So I'm not like out there making millions yet.
Yet.
But
The fact you said yes.
But I am now learning how to surrender, which is really hard for me, to the process and to the flow. And knowing that I struggle with stuff like surrendering to the process has helped give me that little push to be like, okay, this is where I need to take a step back. This is where having that self-awareness that this over here is a struggle for me, I'm allowed to give myself room and grace to work through it. So it's
that's really
not a continual push.
Because there is a lot around, and we're not going into this, but there's a lot around we will do this. Me and Heidi are going to be doing a podcast soon and also a masterclass, which we'll tell you about later, but because we can just fucking talk for hours like we do usually. There's a lot around action, aligned action, and then being open to receive, responding rather than reacting, sort of like delayed gratification, stuff like that. Knowing your tendencies towards, you know, I don't know, shiny object syndrome, or fucking like, oh, you know, I have $1,000.
I had shiny object syndrome in the beginning of my business. Oh, let's try this. Oh my god, because it's all shiny and new. But now I've slowed right down. And even if I'm not having tons of clients, like slide into my DMs right now, that's fine. What can I do with my time? Okay, I can look inwards. I can build something else for myself. For me, like we talked about, I'm in this transition period where, yes, I'm doing readings, but I'm also working on bringing in the chakras to it. So I'm in this phase of learning about these chakras, piecing together in my head, and then sometimes physically as well. I'll start laying out cards to play with setups and stuff for me because I'm a very tangible learner. Piecing these two pieces together, because I know that when I get it clicked in here, that's where my power is going to be. When I don't know how I know that. I just do. Don't ask, my intuition.
That's it. So realistically, like what you're talking about, and again, bringing it back around to what we're talking about, it all boils down to that self-awareness and identifying these parts of yourself in the moment where you say, okay, you know, I have a tendency to be like this, so therefore I need to recognize that, and this is how I can either facilitate it, park it, acknowledge it, and tell it to sod off for now. That's you. Or, you know, for me, like my shiny object syndrome is often a procrastination because of the thing that I truly want is scary. So I'm like, oh, but here's a new thing that I'm going to start doing instead. And then in terms of business, like for me, that leads to, right, okay, well, you know this, but like I'm waiting for like an ADHD diagnosis. I'm pretty sure it's going to come back like, yeah. So, but I want to bring it back round to business each time because the people that we're kind of talking in front of are hopefully getting something from this. Talking about, yeah, so the self-awareness, identifying those parts of yourself. One of the biggest things for me is the inconsistent, like I am inconsistent, and I've always been told my whole life, be consistent, be consistent, be consistent. My school reports, Louise is very, very intelligent. If only she applied herself consistently. And I'm like, you know, so then I get called lazy and all of this bollocks. Well, no, fuck off, right? So I'm, I always say consistently inconsistent or inconsistently consistent. So what do you do with that? I can't suddenly magic consistency out of my arse. So I have to give the appearance of consistency by getting somebody else to do the stuff for me that needs a consistent hand. And this is another thing that I think we should touch upon just before we go, is that there are aspects of what you do in your world, in your business, either when you're starting up or when you're switching modes and trying to level up. The attitude is, particularly for women, if you are capable of doing this, you should be the one doing it. I am absolutely disagree with that completely. Yes, I'm capable of doing it. I don't want to do it. I'm shit at it. It pisses me off. It's crap, right? You know, don't put numbers in front of me. I can do them if I can be bothered, but I don't want to. I'm the words person. So, you know, you're great at like graphics and stuff like that. You know, that's your jam. I'm like, Heidi, you do that bit. Let me do the wordy bit, and I'll do like the automated. Do you know what I mean? Figure out what you fucking like doing. Figure out what's an effective, not efficient, effective use of your time, and either delegate or ditch the other shit. Like, it sounds quite extreme, but I think culling is necessary for a lot of us. You've had to cull a lot of crap, if it's, I don't know, negative thoughts, you know, bullshit self-talk. Cull it. Like, get rid of the shit that you don't need to be doing. Palm it off onto somebody else or ditch it entirely. If it's not serving you, fuck it. Cull it. Cull it, cull it, cull it, cull it. Cull it. Because it always boils down to, like, you know, for a lot of us who lack or have lacked confidence in the past in moving, leveling up, and moving forward, moving the needle and all of those things, there's a fear element there, and there's a lack of confidence there, and it's scary. It's scary sacking the red flag clients.
It is,
especially if they're a big part of your income. It's scary as shit. When I sacked a client that was 75% of my monthly income, and I knew I had to sack them for over a year before I actually got around to it. Oh God, it was horrible.
yeah.
But it's like breaking up. It's breaking up with somebody, isn't it? But what you do then is you allow space for the right shit to come in, because ultimately the next step presents itself when you need it. But if all your shit is filled up with crap, you're not allowing for that space for the other stuff to come in. You're not allowing for the space in your mind for that stuff to come in. And intuitively, you're so bogged down in the crap that you can't emerge from it. It's like a quicksand, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you're like this struggling to come out.
I would love to jump on that too, because I am in the position where delegate or ditch is very hard for me. Where we're at financially, our car broke down. It was deemed indrivable, so we had to, and anybody who had to buy a new car lately will know that the prices of cars are insane. So our budget as a family is really tight. I do not have the option to delegate or ditch. So then what do you need to do if you're stuck in that position? You get really, really, really clear on what you love doing, what you're best at doing. I have more reels on my Instagram than I maybe have infographics or carousels or anything like that, because I know it's quicker and easier for me and my time to show up and do something like this than to spend time on Canva. It's not that I dislike Canva, but I'm looking at realistically what I can do within it, because I told you I have daycare as my full-time biz.
But
So
it's not
what
just
can I
that, Heidi.
do?
It's not just the quickest and easiest thing for you to do. It's the most effective thing for you to do
Bingo.
as well.
And there are so many amazing tools out there. I haven't had time this week. I keep like, I need to sit down and do this, but it's the kids fighting insanity, whatever. Look at different tools that are out there that can support you in time management, that can support you in scheduling, that can support you. Chat GPT, like that's what I'm going to sit down and take a look at, because that will help me do some content.
That offends me, but yeah, go on.
Well, listen, as a copywriter, that offends you. I don't have that money to pay a copywriter right now, but I can go into Chat GPT.
A copywriter. Hello.
But I can go into Chat GPT, type in some stuff. They can do a rough draft for me, and then I can tailor it to my voice, right? You know what? Not everybody's going to have a copywriter first. So I'm throwing up this tool for people who are not in the position in their business yet to hire people, hire a copywriter, or delegate it to a team, because that's also a reality of people just starting out too, where they feel like the pressure's on them to do everything.
That's the thing, that the people that are out there going, oh, do everything. Right, okay, so I agree. Right, we're not going to get in a row because we've got to fucking wrap up. We've been here for like an hour.
I wanted to speak to that as well. So people who are listening to this being like, well, I don't have the money to delegate. What am I doing?
Okay, so it's
clear on the most effective use of your time and where you're most powerful.
But, okay, so number one, first thing so I always say outsource before you can afford to outsource, because the ROI will fucking you will be like, anyway, that side. Skill swap him. So straight up, so obviously we're talking from two different standpoints here. This whole live, we are talking to people that are just kind of coming into the business world. But equally, we are talking to people that are already in an established position who want to move, level up. So they may well have the budget to say, right, I'm just going to chuck a bunch of money at this.
Give the money.
There are.
Do it.
Yeah, right. But I mean, finding the right people, etc., etc. All of that takes time. That aside, the pragmatics aside, what me and you are, I suppose, getting at more than anything else is the practicalities are. Most fucking people, you already fucking know. Buying another course, buying another thing that shows you how to, I don't know, beat the fucking algorithm on Instagram, or the thing that tells you how to be a brilliant copywriter, or the thing, how to do video editing. If these things are not within your wheelhouse already, just stop it. They're not the thing. You don't have to be everywhere all at once. You don't have to do all of these wonderful things. Fucking look in and go, what am I fucking awesome at? Don't worry about your weaknesses. Bollocks to those. You can pay other people to do those when you get around to it. Look at what you're bloody brilliant at and do more of it. That really is what it boils down to. The action will then breed the evidence, which will breed the confidence and the progress. And I think that's where people fall down. People want to know the end game before they've started, before they've even, the frickin' starting gun's gone off. They want to know, but if I do this, what's the outcome going to be? You don't know. All you know is that you can make a decision, you can make it non-negotiable, and you can say to yourself, no, I'm going to do this. This is going to happen. If I decided tomorrow that I wanted to learn how to play the guitar, I'm not going to sit and go, well, I want to know that within the next year I can play fucking, I don't know, something by a Spanish guitarist. I'll think of an example. I want to know that I can play. I can play a couple of it. Well, no, I'm a one string kind of girl because I got a guitar when I was 11, and I have got zero ability to do things at that slow pace. When I was doing my driving lessons, I had twice a week, 4-hour lessons twice a week. I need because otherwise that's just me. But I knew it then. So like, it isn't about the outcome. You don't sit down, you make a decision. I'm going to learn how to do this thing. I'm going to learn how to create a freaking awesome business for myself, and I'm going to do it in a way that works for me. It's no different from learning any other skill, ability. If you've already got something to offer, you're already serving people, you're already fantastic, you're already a wonderful human being, you've got something that people want, then you can create that. You know, you can. Focusing too much on the outcome can create blocks. Yeah, that's right. And that's the, I mean, we won't even go. Blah, blah. There's so much. Anyway, so I'm going to...
Clearly, we need to do this again.
Oh my God, we're going to have to do this like every day to get it all out. Anyway, so I'm going to wrap this up. So, okay, so for everyone who's watching, thanks for like sticking with us for 90, but we were like an hour. Heidi said to me, oh, have we got a time limit? Because we might go off on tangents. I was like, it's fine. We'll definitely get it all in an hour. No, I've still got so many notes left. So let you know, Heidi, me and Heidi, the Aquarius Dream Team, we're doing a masterclass on solstice on the 21st of June. Not sure what time yet. We'll have to figure out the fucking time differences. Woo! It's called Holding Court, Embracing the Queen Within, How Radical Self-Acceptance Can and Will Boost Your Soul-Led Business. If you are interested in that, we are going to obviously be posting about it, but like DM me, DM Heidi, let us know you're interested, give us your email address, we'll put you on our mailing lists so that you get like the information as and when it comes up. We are also starting it's going to be a YouTube channel that we're going to then develop into a podcast, because as you can tell, we've got a lot of shit to talk about. And then before we go, I'm just going to read you my brief notes, which the title is Empowering Shit for People. Own who you are. Stop doing things because you think you should be doing them. If you don't like it, delegate it or ditch it. It's like Louise's truth nuggets. If the practical stuff isn't working, then it's the inner work that you need. Become fierce and confident and step into the spaces where you truly shine and fucking own it. The action will build confidence. Action comes first. Affirmations. What I desire is meant for me. I serve and I deserve. Stop following other shit and start leading with you. This just says, you can learn it because it's who you are. I don't know what I meant by that. That one's for free.
You can learn it if you really want to. If you have a desire.
You can learn it because it's who you are. I don't know what I meant by that. I'm sure there was something very poignant behind that. Stop people pleasing. Stop people pleasing. In order to get to the authentic you, stop people pleasing. Shed the shit. You don't have to go digging. Shed the shit, and it's there. Get rid of the external crap, and then what you're left with, that is who you are. Oh my God, I can't believe, like, we've had like 2 people stay with us this whole time, whoever they are. I fucking love you. Thank you.
Thank you, whoever stayed with us. You are amazing people who put up with all of our tangents, all of our weird stories, our faces, our dancing.
Well, you know what, right? I think that there's some sunshine again. I was quite annoyed earlier, and I was like, 4 o'clock, I've got to go inside for this, and it's really sunny outside. It's rarely happens here. There are, okay, so prime example of what we've been talking about today. If I was being guided by a coach about how you should do lives, about 20 minutes, make it about 20 minutes though. All right. You know, do it like this, stay on topic, you know,
First tip, second tip, third tip. Now you're good to go.
Right, and okay, yeah, in an ideal world, but I can't. That's not who I am. That's not how I am, and I actually think that being privy to some really authentic and candid conversations, historically for me at least, when I've experienced that, it's had so much more impact for me in terms of what I've walked away with, because it's not contrived. It's not bish bash bosh. It's and then go on these beautiful magical mystery tour tangents. Strike pose. There's nothing to it, no. So yeah. So you know what? If you didn't like it, go fuck yourself. And if you did, yes, love
And like,
ya.
if you like our voguing, then when we launch our YouTube channel, come watch us vogue more.
We should invite loads of people to like send us like Vogue, 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 do Vogue. Oh, maybe Vogue. Oh no, that would be copyright. Anyway, right. So we're gonna finish now. After party on Zoom if anyone's interested. So fucking do your shit and fuck everyone else. I think that's the parting gift that I have. Heidi,
Yeah.
any last words?
I would say it doesn't matter where you are at in business, whether you're just starting out, whether you are stuck, whether you are driving it, just stay true to you. Like, listen to this in here,
I
put your
agree.
sunglasses
It's like
on.
there's here, and there's here, and I think the combo. You know what? Earlier on, I was going to start talking about like nervous system and stuff like that. Like, mate, we
No
could have
time.
gone off.
No time. Like,
Definitely, people need to come and join our little YouTube channel when we get that going,
yeah.
because we talk about a lot of stuff. So yeah, okay, so we're wrapping up now. So yeah, so go follow Heidi, Tarot Healing Coach. Come follow me, Louise Harmon Co. And as I say, DM us if you're interested in our holding
Thank
court
you, Emma.
masterclass. And oh mate, if you ever want to be a fly on the wall in one of our Zooms, tough shit, you can't. But yeah,
It gets real weird in there. It
yeah.
gets real weird.
The other thing is, obviously, I'm not selling shit right now, so I'm just like, yeah, DM me, mate. Like, if you want me, DM me. Like, it's cool. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me, Heidi. I'm going to stop it now, and then I'll send you a Zoom link, and we'll have a little after party. Wee, 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 wee. All right, I love you
Love you
millions. Love a
too.
banana. Boy. How do I fucking stop
Press
it, lols?
the X.
Oh, I am. Am I still going?
You're still going.
Oh, well, that's great. What a freaking amateur.